Right as I hit the thing, I was trying to grab it before. Hello! Welcome to another episode. I don't really have anything just for us, so we're just gonna go ahead and roll right into it. I'm not using my headphones today. I'm gonna try and just use my phone. So yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and just do that and see how it works. But yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead, roll right into it, and just get her done. I don't know where I want to put my pen, so. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Phoenix Reads. Today's episode is a series of Today I fucked up. I fucked up. Let's start that again. Sometimes words are hard. Okay, we're gonna try that again. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Phoenix Reads. Today's episode is a series of Today I Fucked Up. That is right, everybody, it is Fucked Up Friday. As usual, I don't read any of the stories I'm about to read with you. I will leave any usernames in the description if you want to go leave your own opinion on their post, given it is still up. My username for Reddit is in the description. Feel free to tag me in stories you'd like to hear me read. Let's get started. Give me 1 second. I'll switch over to this. Okay. And we're just gonna go ahead and roll right into it, because again, I don't really have anything to do. I don't really have anything to say about it, so let's go. Happy Friday, guys. It is Fucked Up Fridays. I hope you guys had a good week. It is Friday, so unless you're listening to this after the fact, then it is whatever day of the week it is for you to be listening. But we're just gonna go ahead, roll right into it. I think today's been a fairly decent day so far for me. I'm recording this a little bit earlier than I usually do, so it could get worse. It always can. But we're just gonna go ahead and roll right into it with our first Today I Fucked Up. Today I fucked up by taking a long shower. The words long shower are in quotations, so I don't know if that means that it is subject to, who's looking at it. What could be, 10 minutes might be long for one person, might be, short for somebody else, so I guess we'll find out. This is just dumb. TLDR at the bottom. My girlfriend and I have a cat that we can't travel with, so we got her an automatic feeder that feeds her every day at the same time. We have had longer trips since we got this feeder over 2 years ago, and our cat has been cool with this arrangement. Last night, I came home from a 5-day trip to my girlfriend's family's house for Easter. My girlfriend has to stay behind by a few days for a work placement for the week, so I came alone. For whatever reason, when I came home, my cat was extremely clingy. Cuddles, hard bouts of licking and meowing, maniacally when she couldn't see me for a second. She stayed on the couch while I changed. She cried like she was lost at sea. Oh, I feel so bad for the cat. We have gone on trips since having the cats. We don't have an automatic feeder or anything. We would just we have a big dog bowl that we would fill up along with their regular bowls, and they seem to do okay with managing their own food, so I don't really worry about it, despite the fact that Sky is an extreme chunk. She's on the ottoman behind the camera, so that's why I was looking behind. But other than that, she does really well. Here's the actual fuck up. I have to work early today, getting up at 4:15. So I decided last night to take a long shower so I could sleep easier. I locked the door, put on mood music, and had the fan blasting. I couldn't hear the cat. Bliss. And I took my time between actual washing and scrubbing, those in quotation marks. I think it means that he was jerking off in the shower. I took 40 minutes in the shower and 20 blasting power ballads because I'm on the king of... What? Hold on. in the shower and like 20 blasting power ballads because I'm on the king shit. I have no idea what that means, so if you know, I guess you know. I head to bed and my cat would not leave me alone. If she was not touching me, then she was meowing constantly. When she was in my arms or on my chest, she was kneading me forcefully. And when I inevitably moved her from me because I'm a light sleeper, she would come back and lick the heck out of my ears. I went to bed at 9. She kept me up until 3:40 when I surrendered and called into work. I'm cool with my management team, so I did tell them about my ridiculous circumstance, and they couldn't stop laughing. Here's the best part. Right after I called into work, my cat left me alone. Like clockwork. It passed 4 a.m. and my cat just left me to sleep. I can't go to bed now because I can't ruin my sleep schedule as I get up at 4:15 tomorrow. TLDR. Left my cat alone for 5 days, ignored her cries for attention, and left her alone for an hour while I jerked it. Aha, so that is what it means. She then kept me up all night with a suffocating amount of love that I needed to call into work as I didn't sleep. First off, if my cat was abnormally clingy to me for like whatever reason after coming back from a trip, I too would probably at first just be like, okay, like, I get it, you missed me, and I would lay there, and I would scratch the living shit out of them, and just, like, let them love on me. But, like, I think, like, after a couple hours, I would be like, is everything okay? Like, did you run out of water? Did you run out of food? Did the food not work? Like, I would go and I would check stuff, because I'd be like, what the fuck do you want? Like, are you trying to tell me something? But that's just personally me, because I feel like I have, like, I think everybody feels like this with their pets at some point, but I feel like I have this intuition with my pets, where it's like, if they're acting weird, I'm like, this isn't normal for you. Is everything okay? And so I will go and like check stuff. Like I'll check their litter. I'll check like everything just to kind of make sure that they're good on every aspect before just going, okay, they're just being annoying today. But I think that's a normal thing to do, I guess. Like I don't think I think it's more abnormal to like completely just be like, oh my God, my pet's being so annoying. But again, that's me. Today I fucked up by moving to LA with nothing. I was a part of an acting agency in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I realized that I'm tired of being offered nothing but TikTok Subway commercials. Huh, okay then. Maybe that is ungracious of me, but I think I want to be a part of something more artistic. I was living with my parents and not going to school or working. I was a complete freeloader and am afraid to admit it. You just kind of did. So they didn't want me to leave, but I'm 21. I don't behave, act, or even feel like I'm a day over 15. I know that I need to change, and I won't be able to unless I put myself in a sink or swim situation. I've been a complete loser for the entirety of my adult life. I have been fired from multiple jobs and failed all of my college courses. I didn't need to change because I had near zero reason to, other than knowing I should. I was fired from the easiest job known to man. I mean it. I worked security at a place on the weekend nights while it was closed. All I ever did was sit on my phone for 12 hours from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. I got fired. You may be thinking, if you can't even do that, how can you do anything else? I believe I'm passionate about acting because it's something that I've wanted to do since I was 6, watching Drake and Josh. Given the recentness of the thing with Drake, maybe that's not the best example that you could have picked. Just saying. Now I have the opportunity to try. I also believe I got fired because it was something I didn't care about and didn't have to do because somebody else pays my phone bill and buys my food. I knew I had to change, and I wouldn't be able to unless I forced myself. So I put myself in a dire straits position. I had $400 to my name and bought a $330 plane ticket. Now I'm at LAX and have nothing but the clothes on my back, a phone, a wallet with ID, and $70. It's kind of funny, but I literally have zero idea of what to do. I come from a small town, and I don't know the half of city life. I don't know what to look out for. Am I going to be robbed? Possibly. I don't know where to sleep. Will I get killed? Possibly. However, I feel a little sense of relief. I feel I'm making the right decision. I hope so, because I have no way of getting home. TLDR. I moved to LA to change my life, and I only have $70 to my name. I don't know what to do. LOL. The LOLs at the end is what sends me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel as though you say you would have no way home, but I can almost guarantee that if you called up your mom and dad and was like, listen, like, this is not working out. I've completely fucked myself over. I need a way home. They would buy you a plane ticket, okay? Like, I'm not even... If your parents have taken care of you this long and you, like, have flat out, like, you are starving, you have nothing, your $70 are gone, you know, you're sleeping under overpasses or whatever it is, and you call them and are like, hey, I fucked up big time. I really need, like, you guys to come get me. I guarantee they would get you a flight home. I guarantee. I could not imagine parents that would be this dedicated to taking care of their child until they're 21 to just suddenly be like, oh, well, you moved out. Fuck you. I guess you're just, you know, fuck us then. Whatever. We're done. I'm sure that they would buy you a way home. So I'm not necessarily as worried for OP as I could be, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, 1, you did it to yourself. 2, right now you think it's funny. 3, as I've already said, I'm fairly certain their parents would buy them a ticket home. I say his because my first thought process is this has to be a dude, because who else would do something that stupid? But then again, being of the female persuasion, yeah, I'm just gonna go with there because the gods only know. Today I fucked up by moving to another city with my girlfriend. Apparently this is a moving episode. That's what this is going to be called, the moving episode. Sorry for typos. I'm typing through my phone and English is not my first language. I just wanted to get this off my chest. I'm already disappointed in myself, as I have been many times in the past, but this one I cannot wrap my head around, so here it goes. And it says long read, but it's a medium story. At least that's what the Reddit gave it. I just want to give a little context before I explain why I messed up. I started working about 2 years ago, living in a small city with limited access to facilities and places I could have visited with my SO. For those that don't know, that means significant other. My sister moved to a new city, and I thought since I have to switch to a better paying job, it would be better for me to just move in with her first, and then when I get the new job, move out and live close to my girlfriend, which, in the future, now present, I would have called her to stay here. This all happened almost 2 months ago. I was ready to move to a different city to get a higher paying job since my significant other earns more than me. Nearly thrice as much as I earn. Damn. I decided to move out with my sister. In the background, my girlfriend is nursing her 12-year-old dog who's getting fits day in and day out. I think that means that the dog is having like probably some sort of seizures or some sort of medical condition. So she's already stressed about that lovely soul. She, being the only earner in the family, it becomes even more demanding and stressful for her since she has to take care of everything happening at her house. I'm lucky in that aspect because I don't have to be so careless in that aspect. I'll be so careful in that aspect. After I move to my sister's place, I start looking for places for my SO to stay near our house so that I can stay close to her. This all happens when she breaks the news of her decision to put her dog down because the doctor says it's best to put him out of his misery and let him continue in his journey into the loving hands of God. I just used the Rainbow Bridge. She's devastated, and rightfully, so am I. She, being a brave and courageous soul, somehow manages to get around the fact that her dog is not going to be around her for so long, and she understands that she has to let him go so he can live a far better life than he is living right now. Again, we had to make this decision roughly about 3 years ago with our boxer. She started getting seizures, and it just got to the point where she was in an older age, and we were just kind of like, do we want to just let her keep going because we love her and we don't want to lose her just yet? We're not ready. or do we put her down and put her out of her misery so that way she can stop having these moments that are scary for everybody? And that's what we ended up doing. And that was a really, really hard move to make. Like, it was absolutely just sad. And to this day, we still have not gotten another dog because, honestly, she set that bar for us so high. I don't know if another dog is ever going to live up to the expectations we now have for dogs because of her. Everything happened within 2 days of her hearing the fact that the doc said what they said and her mourning about him since they just buried her first baby dog. Aww. 2 days after his burial, she moves out rather than staying at home to take care of the other 2 dogs. She has come to this new city I'm living in and distraught her and to distract herself a little while I emotionally heal her and support her through this trauma. I, being one of the biggest asshole I am, couldn't see past how people get depressed by staying alone. Or that too, just after losing someone they care for and loved the entire lives. On the other hand, I like staying alone. I'm an introvert, and this feels like hell because she just explained that she moved here thinking I'd be with her 100% of the time. Yikes. And that I'd make her feel less pain by helping her get through this. I really think I shouldn't have asked her to move out, even without knowing her dog's condition. TLDR. Today I fucked up by asking my girlfriend to move to a different city while she was still mourning about her deceased dog, which she buried literally 2 days before moving to the city I currently live in. I mean, I feel like this is a common knowledge type of thing. Like, don't ever make big decisions like that when you are sad, because 9 times out of 10 they're not going to work out as well as you thought that they would. So I don't know. I feel like he's I know it's not an am I the asshole question, but I feel like he is kind of an asshole in this, where he's just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry your dog died, why don't you move in, or why don't you move closer to me? Like, it's, I don't know, like, it's sad, but at the same time, like, I feel like she's also, if she's old enough to move out, then she should also be old enough to make her own decisions and realize, like, maybe it was kind of unrealistic for her to think that if she moved closer to him, he would be able to be with her all the time. Because again, he's got to work, and even then, like, he probably would want to go home and, like, have his own space at the same time, which I'm assuming he has with his sister. But if he is there with her, he probably doesn't have, like, it's their space, and again, he says that he's an introvert, so it's, for some people, it's harder to live with a partner full time, because they're like, oh yeah, well, I like my own space, and living with a partner, that's kind of something you give up sometimes. Like, I'm kind of lucky in the aspect because my husband travels for work, so I get my own space throughout the week, but then I also get, you know, a loving partner when he's at home and also when he's gone, because we text and stuff. Not as much as I'd like, but that's because I'm needy. So, and then my kids in school during the school year, so I get some nice and quiet, which I get to do this. Which, yeah, speaking of school is almost out here, and so with summer vacation, we will probably go back to, I don't know, I'm torn between either getting up super early, like 5 a.m. to stream and do this, or staying up late and doing this. I don't know. I don't really have anybody that watches the live religiously, so I don't think that either one of those options are going to be, like, out of the realm of possibility for anybody that wants to watch. And I think most people watch this post YouTube, or post after the fact on YouTube anyway. So, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I think it'll just probably depend on what feels right, I think, is probably what I'm just going to end up going with. Or maybe I'll try a little bit of each. Like, I'll try 1 week early in the morning, and I'll try 1 week late at night, and just see how it feels. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Today I fucked up by starting a grease fire. Grease fires are never fun. I, in my infinite young adult wisdom, decided to do some spell work today and made the wonderful decision, mistake number 1, to use a candle and rose oil within the spell. Oh, honey. You gotta be careful with stuff like that. It burned nicely for about an hour, and then all hell broke loose. Please, for any baby witches or, you know, anybody out there, if you are going to do any type of anything with fire and oil, like I don't care if it's cooking, I don't care if it's spell work, anything that involves oil and fire, you need to watch it and also have the correct items nearby in order to put it out. I left the candle unattended on my wooden nightstand. Never leave fire unattended, especially during spell work, because a lot of times with spell work, you can't leave stuff like that unattended. You have to be attentive to it. You have to keep using your intentions towards the spell, because otherwise it's not, spell work isn't something that you can just like, oh, I'm gonna light this candle and then everything's gonna be good. Like that's not how it goes at all. I left the candle unattended on my wooden nightstand while I scrolled through my socials. Mistake number 2. I checked on it every now and then to make sure my hair wasn't in its warpath. Oh, your hair, huh? Not the oil? Eventually, I got a strong feeling that I needed to look at it. I don't know if it got warmer or if I just felt that it needed some attention. When I turned around, all the herbs on the metal plate that I was using were on fire. Yes, they do that. Again, which is why you have to be very careful when doing something like this. If it involves fire, caution. You can never be too overly attentive when it comes to fire and spell work. I forgot, mistake number 3, that I had used copious amounts of oil within this spell. I assumed, mistake number 4, that the herbs had just caught fire. That's fine. No, it's no big deal. I've got my water bottle right here. Oh, baby. You can't use water on an oil fire. I'll just suck some water onto the straw and then I'll let it out onto the fire to put it out. You're basically making a fireball. What they're talking about is taking a drink with their straw and then spitting it with the straw, like kind of like they're trying to be a hose. I need a drink now. Please don't ever put water on an oil fire. Obviously, it was not fine. The flames exploded to the point where they nearly reached the ceiling. Fortunately, it did not reignite. Unfortunately, the smoke alarms were set off, which woke up every single person in my house. Oh, baby. The worst part of it all, I have started at least 2, but probably closer to 5 oil fires in my life. All kitchen fires. I am not some low-grade arsonist. I couldn't tell my parents that I had started an oil fire and put it out with water. Given my experience in the field, I should know how to put out an oil fire by now, and I do. I just didn't realize that the fire I had started was an oil fire until I had put the water on it. If you're using oil in anything, never assume it's just a regular fire. Always assume it's an oil fire. Because it's a very different way that you have to put it out. You can't use water. Can't use water. It will make it worse. Aside from the embarrassment, I knew that if I told them, there may be a discussion of removing my matches and lighters from my custody. I'm starting to think that might be a good idea. Anyway, I have an extensive collection of fire starters that I have spent quite a bit of money on. I don't want to have them end up in the garbage. I mean, personally, if it was me, like if it was my kid, I wouldn't necessarily take them away and like throw them away. I would just take them for a while and give you like one. And like, if you're going to do anything, please let us know so we can check in on you. Because obviously you cannot be left alone with this. So, as any reasonable person would do, I lied to my parents. The guilt I feel is immense. I think I've lied to them maybe once before. I don't know how long it'll be before I tell them the truth. At least they don't have Reddit, as far as I know. so I can vent about my unintentional pyromania on the internet. TLDR, I made a series of unfortunate mistakes that started an oil fire and made a liar out of me. I mean, liar, liar, plants on fire. Literally, plants on fire. Because of the herbs. I'm dumb, I know. I just saw the words dementia simulator. So, I have no idea what we're about to be in for. I just scrolled to the next one and big words that says dementia simulator is looking back at me. So I think this one is, I mean, it's a full 2-pager. So we're in for a little bit of a ride. And this is our first not safe for work this episode. I swear the last few have had so many of those. Because again, I don't read these. I just look at the title and go, yeah, that looks like a good idea. Or that sounds fun. That's the title. That's all I read before I read these with you guys. So, yeah. Not safe for work. If you are listening to this without headphones somewhere that somebody else doesn't want to listen to not safe for work stuff, or you shouldn't be listening to not safe for work stuff, this is your warning. Your one and only one. Today I fucked up by having the most unbelievably horrendous high and experiencing amnesia. One of those. Gotcha. In like parentheses or brackets, it says, not safe for work flare is only because it is drug talk. Nothing 18 plus happens here. So, there we go. There's your little explanation. So, ta-da. Preface. I'm 20 years old. I have always been a curious person, and I have done a lot of things in the past. Mostly drugs. I've done a lot of drugs. I've had shrooms, cocaine, Molly, and I almost tried meth before thinking, you know, I really don't like needles. That's where you drew the line. The needles. The thing is, though, that I'm mostly unfamiliar with marijuana. Is this a normal thing? Because honestly, I feel like people who do, like, the harder drugs also do marijuana and cigarettes. So, I don't know. I guess it's, to me, from my experience, I think it's strange to come across somebody that's into the harder drugs but has never really done marijuana. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I've been passed a joint a time or two, and I've had a coughing fit because of a bong, but overall, I haven't gotten high out of my mind. Me either. Some of you may laugh. However, it is important to disclose now that my mom got her dispensary card. She got a dab pen of all things as her first purchase. A woman who has never seen a drug in 20 plus years that wasn't an opiate for a herniated disc got her grubby little hands on a dab pen and then passed it to me. Of course, I can't refuse. It's too tempting. The sacred apple on the tree of knowledge just within my grasp. But of course, there are consequences to giving in to your desires. Now the big word that says dementia simulator. Oh, yeah, simulator. It didn't hit me until probably the drive-thru of Whataburger that I was relaxing a little bit and my face muscles were numbing down, and I felt pretty good. We got our food, began to drive home, and I have no clue what the fuck happened on the road back, but suddenly I'm hit with the worst paranoia I've ever experienced. I've heard this a lot about people that, like, smoke, like, or that like, do marijuana, because I know you can't, I know there are other ways of just, like, smoking it. It's, like, the dab pen, which I think is a vape. That if it's too high of a, like, concentrate for you, you will experience, like, extreme paranoia. So I don't know. Again, I've smoked marijuana, I think, once in my life, and I was just a very lazy, zoned out stoner. I just, like, everything felt really heavy, and I just, like, laid on the couch and just, like, stared at the TV. I couldn't even tell you what was on the TV. I have, however, done a hookah a bunch of times, but, like, with the actual, like, hookah tobacco. So, I would love to do that again. That was really relaxing. I'm hit with the worst paranoia I've ever experienced. My heart is hammering in my chest, and my hands are shaking. Everything is slowed down. Then I forgot it happened. That's weird, I think. Did any of that really happen? I start panicking again. Like, I have been drunk out of my mind to the point where I did not remember, like, I would go in and out of, like, remembering where I was and then not remembering where I was, and I would just be like, la, 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 and then all of a sudden I'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Because I'd, like, wouldn't remember the last, like, 5 or so minutes, and then I'd be like, what happened? What happened? Like, why do I not remember anything? And then I'd just be like, ha, 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 I'm happy, and then, yeah, it was a very, interesting night. I will say that much. Yeah. My high apparently made all of my actions feel like they were memories or like I was simply thinking them. You know the voice in your head? That's essentially what it felt like. Like I somehow daydreamed an entire scenario and none of it really happened. Dialogue was forgotten. I can't even remember if I said some things and I forgot what time it was. We were almost home and I had a breakdown. Is something I can remember. I remember crying in the car and panicking enough that my mom got mad at me for it, and I remember my voice being a thick southern accent. I remembered laughing like a lunatic, and my mom saying I was scaring her. I mean, I'm just saying, like, from what they've described so far, like, being, like, that side person, I'd be like, you're scaring the absolute fuck out of me right now. Like, what is going on? Cause yeah, I would be absolutely fucking terrified. I have never experienced a high like this, even when I smoked before. My sessions were usually chilled out and calm, and I was just relaxed. The only odd behavior I have was staring at people, and I'd play with my hair. I didn't turn into a human vibrator and a tweaker and start having villain monologues. I've got no words. An unimportant detail, but we are from the South. I have trained myself not to have an accent and to sound as neutral as possible, but apparently being high as balls is opening Pandora's box on things I don't want people to see. It almost sounds like Veritaserum to this guy, or to this person, because it's like it's like he's smoking and then like just everything's coming out. Like they do not have any control over what comes out of their mouth or how it comes out of their mouth, apparently. We get home and I eat dinner. I forget I ate dinner immediately afterwards. I forget that I forgot that I ate dinner, etc. Wow. This is a roller coaster I don't know if I ever want to experience. I'm not going to lie. Then, of course, with my luck, I realize I have 50 minutes to complete a summative exam for my college civil history class. Fuck me. I log into our Proctor software, set up my camera, and realize I looked fucked up. Squinty, red-eyed, and I'm blinking rapidly, and I can't even remember the last 4 minutes of my life. And I've got a 40-question written answer test about the fucking Mayflower or some bullshit. American history be damned. I'm going to try my best. I, in fact, did not do well. Right after I finished, I laid the fuck down and went to bed. That sounds like the best scenario, in all fairness. I'm curious as to what exactly went wrong, but at the same time, I'm afraid of the knowledge I would possess afterwards. Was this just a fluke into my inner desires, or did all of this happen because I'm autistic? I have no idea if something like that and smoking marijuana could be linked. That's a very interesting thought process. Sorry, the scientifics of it to me is very interesting, because it's like, could that be a thing? Could it not be a thing? I don't know. I thought weed was supposed to help calm you down. Why'd I turn into an amnesia patient with Parkinson's? I love that, like that summary of it. That's fantastic. Dawn of a new day. Frankly, I have no idea if any of that actually happened. I don't remember shit from yesterday. The only proof I have is that I texted my best friend basically panicking and saying how bad I felt, and I scolded my mom for letting me get atrociously high, and that she is to never show me that dab pen to me ever again. Even now as I type this, it's like my memories are fading away. Did I accidentally unlock a new depth of my psyche? Am I aware that this is all a simulation now? It says to fucking, but I think it means no. I have no fucking idea what's going on. This isn't even baby's first high, but it's like I somehow experienced man's first sin. I feel horrible. TLDR. While it isn't a very compelling story, it is indeed a story. I took a few drags from my mom's new dab pen and experienced a very bad high that fucked with my perception and was very overwhelming, causing me to embarrass myself in front of my family and flunk an exam that I really needed to pass. I now need a therapist and to repent. I mean, I definitely feel like this person is never going to make this mistake again, but at the same time, I feel like enough time will pass that they're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to try it again and see if the same thing happens. Or they're going to tell one of their friends, and their friends are, we gotta have to do this, and then we're gonna have to record the whole thing so you can see what happened. I would probably be that friend. Given if it was me, I would also probably be down because I'd want to see, like, everything that happened that I couldn't remember. This is why I get myself into some bad situations. Today I fucked up by teaching my oldest son how to throw his gas. I am having stick of truth memories right now. It's been a long, extended spring break alone with my M44 4 kiddos. Ugh. In an attempt to get my oldest son, 11, to stop squatting and gassing in his sister's faces, I informed him on the technique of cupping your hand behind your behind and to throw it instead. This is exactly stick of truth tactics. Later this evening, I come over to the computer to help him with something, and he sticks his hand down by the back of his shorts and lobs one at me. I gag and stumble back from the stench he threw at me. He then says, I almost pooped my pants, and runs off to the bathroom. Oh, that was fantastic. Ironically, one of the first pieces of advice I ever gave him as a kid was never trust a gas. We just say never trust a fart because farts are funny, but never trust them. Basically, I've created a situation now where I'm playing Russian roulette with whether to run away when his hand gets near his behind. Also, I did correct him on his form and let him know that he doesn't actually need to put his hand down his pants. TLDR, I taught my son how to throw gas, and now I'm nervous whenever his hand goes near his behind. As you should be. Because I can only imagine, like, if mom is still around or if, you know, another parent is in the picture, the absolute surprise when that happens to them for the first time. And also, kudos for this kid for, like, just deciding that they're going to prank the master, the teacher, which is dad, because it's like, oh, you taught me how to do something? Alright, well, surprise, motherfucker! That's definitely I fucked up. Like, all I can say right now is I am never teaching my son this, and honey, if you're watching this, don't ever fucking teach him to do that shit. I will fight you. And we will take it to the Walmart parking lot to make it normal. Alright, this is another not safe for work. It has to do with a tattoo. So, I don't necessarily know if it's anything sexual. But it does say not safe for work, so this is your one warning. Today I fucked up by getting a cross tattoo on me. I mean, I'm interested. So today I really fucked up. I got my first tattoo ever. Super exciting stuff, right? Fucking wrong. I wanted it to be a reminder to myself to abstain from bad habits, so I put on my hand tattoos. I put it on my hand so that from my perspective, it's right side up when I look down at it. Oh, honey. Even mine is upside down when I'm looking down at it. You always want it to be right side up for the people that are looking, but I understand. I think when I went to go get this one, I wanted it that way too, and the tattoo artist said, no, you always want to do it this way. So I was like, oh, I'm like, okay. Do you see where the issues lies yet? No? Well, the artist said, hey, dude, that's upside down. My stupid ass was like, nah, because when I pray, it will be the right direction. So, like, when they go like this, it'll be like that, instead of, you know, upside down. Oh. Yeah, well, I was right about that. Except that in literally every other situation, it's an upside down Antichrist symbol, and here's the kicker. Sorry, I kind of read ahead a little bit, and it's really fucking funny. I have 3 names. A first, a middle, and a last. I think most of us have 3 names. I know there are some cultures where they don't give people middle names. And guess how many letters I have in each name? Motherfucker, I'll tell you. 6, 6, 6. So, 6 letters in the first name, 6 letters in the middle name, 6 letters in the last name. I have 6 letters in all 3 of my government-given names. Guys, please help. I just wanted to show God that I really appreciated him saving my life, because without him, I wouldn't be alive today. And now I look like a fucking Satanist, and I legit cannot sleep. Even if I reverse it so when I'm idle, the cross is the right way, it would be upside down when I pray. Pro tip, don't put crosses on your hands. It is the worst idea you can possibly do. Lord, forgive me. TLDR, I am now the most unintentionally blasphemous Christian on the planet. I don't know about that. I don't know about that part. I mean, we do have all of these, I don't want to necessarily use the word priests, but we do have an awful lot of these people in certain positions in Christianity that they're you know, the big old pedos. So I don't know if I would say you were the most blasphemous. I'm just saying, some of these guys do that, and then they go, it was in the name of God. No, bitch, it was in the name of whatever, the fact that you're nasty. I'm gonna move on from that. One, I'm no longer a Christian, so for me, I feel bad for the guy, because I can understand where he's coming from. Because it's like, he just wanted to do something nice. He wanted to do something right. And when he's, you know, praying, it's something that it's like, man, yeah, it's like, it just really, like, encourages him and, like, you know, kind of gets him hype. But then, yeah, every other time, like, when he looks down at it, he's just like, yeah. But then if anybody else looks at it, it's like, ugh. So, I understand his frustration. That's all I'm going to say. Today I fucked up by hiding Easter eggs in my neighbor's yard. We are still in the month of April. This will not come out in the month of April when everybody else sees this, or listens to this. But this is the last week of April that I'm recording this. So the fact that we just passed Easter. It was Easter morning, and I was excited to surprise my kids with an egg hunt. I went around the neighborhood hiding eggs in various spots. The whole neighborhood? Damn, like, we only used the yard, like, when we did it, so. But then I got into my neighbor's yard, and I realized it was the perfect spot. There were lots of bushes and trees to hide eggs in, and I figured it would be a fun surprise for them to find some extra eggs. Like, the neighbors? Or, because I'm slightly at a loss, like, why you would hide eggs in other people's yards? I don't know, that's just me. I don't know if that's like certain places do that. Like, personally, if it was me and I was like a new neighbor and I caught my neighbor hiding their eggs in my yard, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Also, I've also heard that there are certain places where they don't dye the eggs and then hide those eggs. They use the plastic ones. Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense because then the kids get, like, extra chocolate or money sometimes. But, like, growing up, we always dyed our Easter eggs and then hid those ones. So, sorry. So I started hiding eggs, feeling like a genius for coming up with this idea. But then I realized something terrible. I forgot to ask my neighbor if it was okay to hide eggs in their yard. That's what I was wondering. Did you even ask? That was, that kind of, like, was in the back of my head. Like, did they even ask? And worse, I accidentally hid some eggs near their flower bed, which I didn't notice at first. Later that day, I heard a knock on my door. It was my neighbor, looking pretty angry. They told me that their dog had eaten some of the chocolate. Oh no, it was chocolate. It wasn't even like a real egg. It was the fake eggs. They told me that their dog had eaten some of the chocolate eggs I hid, and it made them sick. And on top of that, their flowers were trampled by my kids while they were searching for eggs. This is why you don't do shit like that, or at least ask. Because that's a shitty neighbor thing. I personally would be really angry too. Like, you made my dog sick, you trampled my fucking flowers, like, my dude. This is not okay. I tried to apologize and offer to pay for any damages, but my neighbor was understandably upset. They told me that they had spent a lot of time and money on their garden, and they didn't appreciate my thoughtless actions. I wouldn't either, because that's rude as fuck. That is terrible neighbor behavior. After my neighbor left, I felt terrible. I never meant to cause any harm or damage, and I didn't want to ruin our neighborly relationship. So, I decided to make things right. The fact that this is not even the end of the story makes me worried that you making things right is not making things right, if you catch my drift. I went over to my neighbor's house with a bouquet of flowers and some chocolates, and I apologized again. I told them that I would do anything to make it up to them and offered to help with any repairs or cleaning up their garden. My neighbor was still upset, but they appreciated my gesture and agreed to let me help out. Okay, so I'm glad that it didn't, like, you didn't do something, like, over the top and, like, it blow up in your face. So I spent the next day helping my neighbor clean up their garden and repair any damages. It wasn't easy work, but it was worth it to show my neighbor that I was truly sorry for my mistake. But in the end, my neighbor forgave me, and we were able to move past the incident. But I learned an important lesson that day. I realized that it's always better to ask for permission before doing something on somebody else's property, and to be careful not to cause any unintentional harm or damage. TLDR. Always ask before hiding Easter eggs in someone else's yard, and be careful not to cause any unintentional damage or harm. I feel like that's such common sense that it bugs the absolute piss out of me that there are people out there that just assume that they can do shit like that and not have any consequences, or that it's gonna just be okay. Because I personally would, I'm on the neighbor's side with that. I would be just fucking livid to, because it's like, imagine like, oh, you don't have kids and you sleep in on Easter, and then, you know, your dog wakes you up and you go, okay, you know, the kids have already done their damage, and you let your dog out and all of a sudden notice that your flower bed is, your flowers are trampled, and then your dog starts getting into something and you're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And then it ends up being chocolate and makes them sick, and I'd be freaking angry. I can't even imagine that whole scenario being okay. I couldn't ever imagine being like, yeah, I'm gonna put like eggs all over the neighborhood, my kids are gonna go on this. Like, if the whole neighborhood has kids and is in on it, that's one thing. But when it's not, that's what doesn't make sense to me. Like, where in your head and your thought process you go, yes, this is a brilliant idea, and there's no way this could possibly go wrong. Today I fucked up by knocking on doors. As ridiculous as the title may sound, yes, I somehow managed to fuck up by simply knocking on doors. I am a 4th grade teacher in high school. Oh, a 4th grader. What? It says, I am a 4th grader in high school, 19 years old. That does not make any fucking sense. Alright, I think that means that they're a senior. It means they're in their 4th year in high school, which for us Americans means that they're a senior. And since this is our final year, we end our school year at the end of April, right before exams in May. Today was the last day you could put a submission for extra absence tolerance, which I only needed because I got sick twice and was enough to have an absence over 25% in 2 of my classes. Here's how it is connected to the fuck up. That's actually kind of a cool idea, like being able to put in for, like, I guess, an approval for being absent. When putting in the submission to the principal's secretary, you have to bring your absent list with you so that the principal can verify your absence isn't caused by skipping school or something of that kind. Well, I left that absence list in my home classroom, but today we weren't having any lessons there. Why? It's because today is the second day of acceptance exams for elementary students applying to our high school. Sometimes that throws me, okay, or like, the way that some, like, depending on where you are in the world, it's worded for school, throws me off. Because where I'm from, we have elementary school, which is kindergarten through 5th grade, sometimes 6th grade, and then, or even sometimes just till 4th grade. And then what we call middle school, which is anywhere from 5th grade to 9th grade, which is, or like 8th grade. So sometimes it can be 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then high school, which is 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then if you're like me, you become a super senior and you do 12 again. So whatever they still call it, like elementary school before getting to high school, it kind of throws me off. But that's probably just because of my linguistics and where I'm from. I was about to head out to give the submission to the secretary when I started looking through my bag for the absence list. I couldn't find it and kind of started panicking. I realized I left it in my home classroom, so I knew I had to go there and grab the absent list that I accidentally forgot on the teacher's desk. There was no other day I could do this, and if I didn't put that submission down, I would most likely not be able to pass, and I'd have to do my maturity exams in September, which would not only pretty much disqualify me from getting into a good UNI, but also make me have to go to summer school. Ugh. That would suck, having to go to summer school as a senior. Like, you're graduating, but because you technically failed, you have to do stuff over summer. It would suck, but that's also a really good idea. And I don't know. I never was given that option to, but I'm almost wondering if that's something that we could do here in America. Or maybe we can now. Maybe we couldn't do it when it was, 20-some years ago. Almost 20-some years ago. So I'm almost wondering if that's a really good idea, personally. From what I've heard is that if you don't pass your senior year, you have to retake it. Like, some people, they only have to retake like the first half, and then they get to graduate like halfway through, and then they're just done with school for the rest of through the rest of the year, and then you get to walk with everybody else at the end. So, but summer school, like, if you only have like 1 or 2 classes that you could do during summer school, like, I think that would be fantastic. I don't know if that's something that we can do, or maybe that's just something that's not available where I was going to school. I went to the home classroom, and unfortunately for me, it was one of the classrooms where acceptance exams were taking place. But since I didn't have much time, the only thing I could think about doing to solve my problem was knock on the door, hoping the teacher or the kids taking the exams wouldn't get pissed. Still, I knocked on the door, and again, unfortunately, the teacher in that classroom was an old lady who a lot of us students at the school hate for always escalating things. I was deeply apologetic, asking her if I could grab my absence list quickly. When she angrily said no, I just asked if I could grab it when the exam is over. So I waited 15 minutes for the exam to finish, and then quickly went in and grabbed it from the teacher's desk. Okay, if you only had 15 minutes, personally, I would have not knocked. I would have just waited and then like gone in and be like, hey, before the next exam starts, I really need to grab that list. In and out, you won't even know. I probably would not have knocked. I would be too terrified. Especially if it's a teacher that you know is kind of like an asshole. Like, I would have been too terrified to knock on the door. At that point, I was thinking, hooray, crisis avoided. I get to do maturity exams in May. The teacher did kind of scold me for interrupting the classroom by knocking, but I threw that off because, hey, how was one knock during a 70-minute exam going to affect anybody? It wasn't like I was knocking on all the classroom doors to mess with the kids. Anyways, I headed to the secretary, gave her the submission alongside my absent list, and went back to class. Nothing was really happening. I thought the teacher threw it over her head and just went on. But she reported me to the principal for my stunt. The principal himself came to the classroom where my class was to scold me. Damn. To say that I was shocked would be a grave understatement. I wanted to apologize so badly to the principal myself, but I couldn't pick up any words. I just stood there and took the words. Now, he's most likely not going to accept my absent tolerance submission, and I have no idea what to do with other than writing an apology for my actions, which I did right before writing this post. TLDR. I mightily interrupted a class during an important exam, and now I might not be able to do my own exams. I feel bad for the kid, because it's like, it was an honest mistake. It's not like they were doing it maliciously and trying to, like, fuck stuff up. It's just, it sucks that happened to them, but at the same time, if they knew there was only, like, a little bit of time left, I don't see why they would have had to knock. Like, why not just, like, wait till it was over and then pop in and get it? So I'm really torn, because I feel like there was a better option for them to do than what they did. So, I don't know. What's your thought? Like, would you have knocked? Would you have not knocked? Would you have waited? Like, I know hindsight is 20/20, so it's like, what do you do? This is going to be our last one, though, because we are running out of time. Today I fucked up by getting scammed. I received a text on WhatsApp asking if I needed a job, and I said sure, assuming it was a scam. I'd play along and waste their time for fun. I do this. Not on WhatsApp, but, like, I get lots of scammers on my Facebook and sometimes my Instagram, and I will most definitely fuck with them. Like, I have Yu-Gi-Oh card pictures that I have personally made that have, like, stupid sayings. Like, sometimes it just says K, or it's like, I literally don't even care. Ones that say I'm married. Like, there's one that says no with, like, the little sparkle emojis on either side. Yeah. I literally have enough to carry on a whole conversation with a scammer without even typing anything. For the most part, yeah. Like, I have one that says cool story, bro. Yeah. I'd play along, waste their time for fun. A day later, it started, and I was paid. I was surprised. Then day 2, I had started again, and something called combo. I had to deposit my own money, not much, about 25 pounds. Was scary, but seemed worth it. Paid again, considerably more money this time. I tried Googling the company. App Tailors seems legit. Oh, honey, they will use the name of actual legit companies. Today was day 3. I started as normal, and then I was getting lucky by getting 4 combos. It worked fine until I got this final combo that requested 5,000. I am now down 2,500. I borrowed money from my partner and family and have no money to feed myself or get to my main job for the month. I'm devastated right now. I don't know what to do. I'm ashamed. TLDR. Got scammed 2,500 pounds by a company because I didn't trust my gut. If anybody just randomly messages you and you don't have your number out on, like, anything for jobs to contact you, chances are it's a scam. This is also why I don't ever use WhatsApp. Like, when fucking with scammers, I only use the Google Hangouts, the Google Chat thing, and I use an email that is strictly for that. Like, that email is not hooked up to anything else, so it won't come up for anything that they can use. And whenever somebody, like, I always stand my ground about it. They go, let's go to WhatsApp. I go, no, because I don't give out my phone number. And it's like, well, I can give you mine, but I'm like, but then when I text you, you're still gonna have mine, you fucking idiot. So yeah, I don't do that for reasons like that, and because I get enough stupid scammy phone calls just from the government. So I don't need actual scammers from wherever they are to fucking call me too. Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. If you know somebody who likes my content, feel free to send me their way in a share. If you would like to send me a message with your own story, rant, question, unpopular opinion, or if you want me to tell others how you fucked up today, or any day, send me a message via any of my social media found in the description. Just like for my cute little avatar you see on whatever app you're listening on. Please, give a rating if you liked what you heard today. I hear that they help out tremendously. And as always, I will catch you all next time. Bye! While that's doing its thing, before I can add the music, I will talk to y'all. I hope you guys all enjoyed what you heard today, like I usually say in my outros, but for YouTube, if you want to hit any of the buttons down below, the like, the comment, the subscribe, the bell. I have no idea where they are down here. I'm just pointing my hand vehemently towards the bottom because that's where that stuff is. Yeah, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to, say what one your favorite story from today was. Like I say, I do have a Reddit, so if you want to go add me on there, or I do have a subreddit on there that people can submit stuff to. It's Even Stories. I would like to get to the point again where I have people submitting horror stories and maybe doing like maybe making like an extra podcast episode like once a month or something like that with stories that people have submitted. But yeah, I will see you guys next time, and I hope you guys all had a good rest of your week. Hope you guys all had a good rest of your week. I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you guys next time.